Hey guys, I'm Megan Barker. Welcome to Jammin' and Jammies. We are sitting down with some of our favorite music creators and industry leaders. We're going to find out how they got where they are and get some valuable insights into the music world. You can watch the interviews online or tune into the podcast. Just check out jamminandjammies.com for the details on everything. Today, we're sitting down with my friend Ryan Smith, who is the head of artist relations for Shure. You might have heard of it. Shure is one of the top microphone and audio companies in the world. I'm sure you've heard of them, I should say. Let's jump in. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Megan?
I'm so good. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. I've got burning questions.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me, and let's hit them.
Let's do it. Do you want to just start by
Yeah.
telling everyone where you're from and how you got into music at all?
Okay, so I was born in the city of Chicago, and then my parents moved out to a suburb called Bolingbrook, really close to Naperville, if you're familiar with the Chicagoland area. And my parents really got our whole family into music at an early age, playing songs on the family stereo whenever on a Saturday, whenever we were cleaning up the house or doing stuff like that. And that really stoked our musical interests early on before we even knew it. Just listening to groups like the Mamas and the Papas and John Denver and the Doobie Brothers, and groups with great musical harmony and songwriting ability. And so that's what kind of got us into music. My father played guitar a little bit, and then my older brother played drums, and I just had to play drums too. So that's kind of where my musical beginning started, was in percussion and drums and stuff like that. So
Wow. Well, first of all, I think it's interesting that you say you got into music because you guys would put music on while you were cleaning. I grew up doing the same thing. It was a lot of James Taylor and Carole King, and which I don't know if that's the best cleaning music, but it was for us. It was great.
It was nice and smooth and calming as you're vacuuming the pit downstairs in the basement, right? The big old 11-piece pit that was orange or whatever, and
Yeah, it would help
cleaning out all the crumbs.
Make the time go by faster. Exactly. So you played drums. Were you in bands?
I was. So middle school was when I got started into percussion and stuff like that, and marching. And that carried over into high school. And I started playing set some in high school, just practicing on my own and stuff like that, putting on my favorite bands at the time, and learning to play along with those songs that I liked. And I always tried to pick something challenging. So I'd extend the vocabulary, so to speak.
What were some of your favorite bands?
When I got into like high school times, I started listening to like Kiss and Led Zeppelin and Rush and Night Ranger, bands like that, The Who.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was definitely fun meeting new people who had other musical tastes, and them introducing me to new artists and really new lessons to listen to play drums along with.
Wow.
So that kind of became my thing.
You were a rocker. I like it.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, tell us about Shure. How did you get into Shure?
So I went to Joliet Junior College to get my associate's degree, which was in music. Mm-hmm. And during my time there was a person who was a guitar player who I met and became good friends with. And when he got his associate's degree, he told me he was going to work for Shure in their customer service department. But I had a couple more years left of college to finish down at Southern Illinois University. And so I did that and came back up and sent my resume to Shure with his name as a reference. Took a little while, so I jumped into an internship with a production company who planned a lot of corporate meetings for big clients like McDonald's. And so McDonald's would give them a budget and say, we want to have a big party. We want to invite 2,000 people. Here's the budget we have. What can we do with this? Food, entertainment, decorations, whatever. This company was involved in all that planning. So I got to know a lot of the ins and outs of putting an event like that together through these people. So, and in fact, it was a family friend who got me that internship. So, and he comes into it a little bit later. So yeah, so then I updated the resume with that internship and sent it out again to Shure and a whole bunch of other places in Chicago. I'm like, anything that has to do with music and business, I'll take the job. So, but finally Shure called back and I got hired in 1993.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what was that whole process like, jumping into that?
So I got hired into the customer service department as the first rush order expediter.
Oh, Lord.
So whatever rush orders that had to go out that day and ship out like overnight or 2-day shipping or 3-day, those order numbers came to me and I would have to track their progress through the shipping department. And at the end of each day, make sure they all went out.
Sounds like a big job.
It was fun. It was fun. It definitely had its moments. But I got, I was a drummer. I knew nothing about microphones. So I did learn a lot on the job about microphones and really about dealing with people.
Yeah, I imagine.
And it was great. It's been great experience so far. And so yeah, I started out in customer service and then eventually worked my way up to being a rep for an internal customer service rep. So all of the various rep companies that handled our product throughout the US, several of them would call their orders into me, or sometimes I get a direct call from a dealer and have to write down their order and hand it over to order entry and make sure it all got taken care of.
Okay, so what does your job look like now?
So I spent about 2.5 years in customer service.
Yeah.
And during the time I was at Shure, I still didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I started meeting a lot more people. And there was this really tall guy in the company and he had a ponytail. He looked really cool. I'm like, what does he do? Oh, he's the artist relations guy. I'm like, what's that? So I found out a lot more about what he does, going out, meeting with artists, talking to engineers, going to shows. I'm like, okay, that sounds like me. Yeah. If he ever needs help, I want to be standing right in line to get that position.
Did you grow a ponytail?
No.
Ponytail was not required.
Almost in college, but I was in a metal band in college for a little while. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome. So then you knew what you wanted to do.
Yes.
So how long did it take for that to come to fruition?
I got hired into the artist relations department around 95. So sorry, I was off on the years on that. But so yeah, 1995, I got hired into customer service. Or, artist relations.
Yeah.
So started doing that there. And it became this dream job of meeting a whole bunch of musicians that I grew up, trying to play along with their songs.
Yeah.
And getting their phone numbers and developing closer relationships with them and the people that work with them. So
that must have been so exciting. I mean, I'm sure it's still exciting now, but at the very beginning, I bet it was just kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was go ahead.
There continues to be a lot of unforgettable moments.
That's amazing. And this was still in Chicago. So how long did it take you to get to Nashville? Well, how did that all happen?
So when you're in the customer service department, sometimes they send you out for trade shows like the Summer NAMM show, which of course was happening in Nashville. Yeah. And by that time, my wife and I had gotten married and had our first child in 1996 and started to think about what our future looked like. Shure was located on the north side and still is of Chicago, and we were living on the south side of Chicago. So traffic each day was definitely a kind of heartbreaking. I mean, in the middle of winter, driving through toll roads, it could be a 2-hour drive home.
Oh,
so just crazy.
Yeah. No.
But so we started thinking about what's next for us. Where do we need to move to get a bigger house to accommodate our family? And when we went to the NAMM show in Nashville, Summer NAMM, we picked up one of those real estate magazines back in like 1998, 99, and we're looking at some of the sizes of houses and the cost for those houses and going, oh my goodness, we could double our house size and not have to double our house payment.
Yeah.
So I started formulating this plan of, what would it look like to have an artist relations representative in the heart of Nashville, taking advantage of all of the activities that happen in Nashville and developing closer relationships with not just the artists, but their crew, their management, and anybody else. So I started formulating that plan and had a little help on it. And then right around the early part of 2001, they agreed to go forward with it.
I can't imagine Nashville not having a sure rep now. Can you? I mean, it seems crazy, but you're brilliant. You had this idea.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's definitely been fun. It continues to be fun. I love meeting new people, present company included, and hearing new artists. I just was out last night at the High Watt, catching a few new artists, and just interacting with great human beings is one of my favorite parts of waking up every day.
That's beautiful. And Nashville, I'm assuming you love Nashville because you never left.
Yeah. Love Nashville. Love Nashville.
Okay, well, you said that you were just at a show last night seeking new talent. So what all does your job entail? I guess pre-COVID, during COVID, what exactly do you do every day, Ryan?
So our main focus is artist relations, is to find and develop relationships with artists that we feel would represent our product really well, that like our product. They know it's the tool that they rely on every single night when they're out during their show. That they trust it so much that they don't have to worry about it every night.
Yeah.
They're out on stage to do a job and they need to enjoy that job. And, we enjoy finding out what some of the things are that would make their job easier and try to incorporate those into our products.
Yeah.
And, to help not only the artists, but also the crew people who deal with those wireless systems every day or those microphones every day. Yeah. So we want to develop those relationships and continue to access them for, to find out what's the next best thing? What do you need? What would make your job easier?
Wow.
So that's what we do.
Do you seek out new talent, or is new talent kind of brought to you via email through all the relationships that you've built over the years? How do you find new talent?
It's a little bit of both, honestly. It can come from, out of the cold, somebody who's never reached out to us before, who's a manager or who's a front of house engineer who is working with a new artist and they want to develop a relationship. Mm-hmm. Or it can come from a friend. I told you about that friend who got me the internship.
Right.
Well, he actually introduced me to 21 Pilots early on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just as a band that he'd listened to and really enjoyed. And he's like, you should sign these guys. They're really good. And I went out and met with them, and they're very gear savvy. And this was back when they were playing like 1,000-seat, Cannery Ballroom size. So it was very exciting to get in a little bit early with those guys because they were starting to explode big time.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of that now that you've been at Shure for so long. How many artists have you seen, play like to 10 people and then they're playing to 10,000?
There's been a handful.
Yeah.
There's been a handful, definitely. I mean, most of the time we're getting in with artists when they've got a pretty big following already.
Yeah.
There's some activity going on, and whether it's their social media is really engaging.
Yeah.
Or they've got some great songs out and the video streams are way up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
like all sides of the industry, social media is kind of an important piece of the puzzle. I mean, you want to get your name out there as a company too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you say that is your favorite part of your job, is meeting new talent?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of times I'm really surprised at even if I meet somebody first before I've ever seen them perform.
Yeah.
It's cool to see what goes on and what they do and what their demeanor is on stage compared to off stage. You know,
Right.
it's different. But yeah, it's exciting to catch somebody new who really has something cool to say and knows how to put on a really engaging show.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about favorites, Shure makes all kinds of things now. It's not just live microphones. I mean, you're talking on something right now that is ideal for podcasting and such. What is your favorite piece of equipment that Shure is making?
Well, since you mentioned this, Mike, so this is what I'm talking on right now. It's called the MV7, and it has not only an XLR connection, but also a USB connection.
That is really cool.
So great for podcasting, like you said, and stuff like that. So the model for this came from an earlier microphone that we've had for quite a long time called the SM7.
Yes.
And you've probably seen this all over the place for, podcasts and stuff like that. It's incredibly successful. It's still doing very well.
Yeah.
And this is the microphone that Michael Jackson sang into for Thriller.
Really?
Not this very one, but
wow.
one like this. Yeah.
Wow. That's insane. Stories like that are just, they give me chills.
Oh yeah. So, cool. So that one's definitely come a long way with a lot of people. Studio engineers love it on vocals, pretty much on anything.
Yeah.
It sounds great. It's definitely my desert island mic.
Right. Your desert island mic. Because if you're on a desert island, you would need a microphone. That's hilarious.
I got to do a podcast, right?
Do a podcast about it. That's right. We need content.
Hey, I met this sand the other day, and this crab crawled all over it, and
there's an audience for everything. I truly believe it.
That's right. I could fill hours with that.
Yeah, and you know what too is when I think of Shure, I think of microphones and audio, but you guys do like in-ears too. You do everything at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Basically anything live.
That's pretty much. I mean, mostly from the microphone side, from the in-ear side, from the drum mics, amp mics, that kind of stuff. Yeah, we try and it's amazing when we find some engineers who can use an all Shure mic package on stage.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So cool. I would love for you to start like a vlog series. We could just follow Ryan around day to day. I would watch it. Is there anybody that you would dream of working with or meeting? Is there anybody on your list?
I'm really digging this group Dirty Loops.
Okay.
They're pretty awesome. They did a couple songs with a guitarist named Corey Wong. Mm-hmm. They did a version of Thriller actually, which is pretty cool. But horn section, keys, really great vocals, guitar stuff. And then there's another song they do called Follow the Light, which from a drummer's perspective, I'm banging my head every time I hear that song because it's so in the groove pocket. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
and I think it's really cool of you to give a band a shout out. I don't know if they're new or if I have never heard of them, but I'm going to check them out after this. But I think it's really cool for you to take an opportunity to give like new bands a shout out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love working with new bands and of all types. I mean, there's not a lot of music styles I don't like. Let's put it that way.
You're a true music lover.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's just I appreciate really good talent,
Amen. I think we have to. There's so much good music in any genre. I don't care what label you put on it,
Mm-hmm. And I'll say again, present company included.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I knew I loved you. Okay. Well, what's next for you? What's next for Shure? Tell us both. What are you going to be working on the next year? What's coming up, down the line for Shure?
Well, a lot of what I also do is try to get content, artist content for the company to put up on our social media stuff. So I've got a couple engineer interviews coming up, one with Brett Young's crew.
Yeah.
So that's coming up at the end of this month. And then another one with John Party's crew. So working on those. And then also working on some other endorsements.
Yeah.
With some other artists that we're considering.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
I just met with the production manager for an artist named Jake Wesley Rogers.
Okay.
Who's really interesting. It's a really interesting music. He's kind of got the David Bowie, Elton John thing going on with costumes and plays piano and sings. And he's really good. So I think he's opening for Ben Platt this year on tour,
Wow.
on an arena tour. So yeah, so we're always on the lookout for who's pinging the radar, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, do you still go to NAMM?
I haven't in several years.
Okay. Yeah.
Typically I'll attend, like if there's a Grammy Awards, I'll go to that, or like a Academy of Country Music Awards. I'm out there and meeting with the crew people out there who handle the award shows and stuff like that. And again, getting a lot of their feedback on our products and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you're very humble and I don't know. I don't think you'll toot your own horn, but you've been at this company for so long. You've obviously worked really hard. You started at the bottom, to quote Drake, and now we're here. But
Yep.
You've obviously got a great work ethic. Can you just talk about that? I mean, what is kind of your best piece of advice you've gotten? How did you get where you are, you think?
My parents had a lot to do with that. So my father was in the X-ray business, and he was in the business at a time when companies were just buying up other companies like crazy.
Yeah.
He always had a job,
Yeah.
and he always, whatever company he was he was with that was getting bought up, the next company took him with.
Wow.
And I knew that because of his work ethic. He always worked really hard. And then outside of that, he was also an amazing football coach.
Oh, wow.
So to watch him do that and push the kids past their limits and really draw the best out of them was inspiring. And then on my mother's side, she became a bank vice president at the time. So she worked her way up in that. And, I mean, my parents have just been always really nice people. So to me, that is like, you know what, if you're just nice to people, somehow that helps you in life.
Yeah.
It comes back to you in ways that you really come to appreciate.
Yeah.
And want to tell more people about it.
Yeah. I feel like too, the bigger people that I've met, so to speak, are always the kindest, warmest people. So I really do believe that there's something to just being kind and not stepping on anybody to get ahead, and it'll all just come to you,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten? Maybe it was from your dad or your mom.
Yeah. To me, it's just, treat people the way you'd like to be treated. Be nice to everyone.
Yeah. I love that.
That really does it for me. I mean, it makes it simple.
Yeah.
It makes it super simple.
It doesn't take a lot to be kind. And that's the first thing I think of when I think of Ryan Smith is you're just kind. You've always been very kind to me and to Jammies, and we thank you, even though it's been quite a journey. You've always been there and been supportive, and we do appreciate you.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate you and really appreciate you inviting me on to speak. And, I look forward to hearing more music from you and coming to see you. Yes,
it's going to be a good year. It is. And then I'll leave you with one more question. It has been a really rough couple of years for artists, for songwriters, for everybody, but especially the music industry people. Would you have any advice for anybody who, I don't know, is a new artist who's on the rise, but they're struggling right now?
Yeah. I would just say, keep believing in who you are as an artist and what you want to give to the world. Yeah. The messages through your songs. The struggle is part of the journey, and it makes you appreciate it that much more when you hit your goals, whatever those may be. It's all worth it. So keep it going.
And sometimes it takes longer than you think, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for your time, Ryan. We appreciate you. And we'll have to check back in again, maybe, sometime this year and see what's going on.
Okay. That sounds great. I'd be happy to.
That'd be awesome. Okay. Well, stay well. We'll see you soon.
You got it. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Showtime. Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. Oh, they don't know. I bet they know as soon as we walk in. Wearing fuzzy things, candy rings, ain't PJ looking so fly. Don't look too hard, you might hurt yourself. We look too damn good to deny. At Frisky Frogs. Oh, snap. I'm a dangerous girl with some footies on my feeties. Keep up! So many awesome hits and riders, and we're gonna keep them coming. Keep up! Come on down to the frog, and we'll get you Jammie juice, and come on! Riders only. Put your candy rings up to the moon. What y'all trying to do?